Hi, it's Jim Ferguson here with another short video for you. Now, I entered into my very first joint venture or business partnership when I was 10 years old. I probably left it a little bit late. Richard Branson and people like that probably did that when they were 4 or 5 years old. I waited until I was 10. It was the summer holidays. I needed some extra spending money, so I got together with my best friend and neighbour, Alan Armstrong. Now, I had these pair of gardening shears and he had a rake. Together we had a business. So on summer afternoons during school holidays we'd go out, wander the streets looking for a garden that was a bit run down, a bit shabby, a bit overgrown. We'd then knock on the door. If someone answered, we'd offer our services. We'll tidy up your garden, we'll cut the hedge, we'll mow the lawn, whatever. Now, most people said no. They probably thought we overestimated our skills as gardeners, but a few people were kind enough to take us on, gave us the work, gave us a job, and paid us a little bit of money. So throughout the summer holidays, for a couple of weeks at least, when it wasn't raining, we were out there working hard. Now, for a 10-year-old, that was hot, thirsty work. So at the end of the day, or probably not at the end of the day, probably as soon as we got enough cash together, we would go off to the sweet shop and we would spend it. We didn't understand the idea of reinvesting and growing the business. We were just out there for the cash. And it would all go on sweets and a bottle of Tizer or a bottle of Dandelion and Burdock, which we'd share between us, because as I say, it was hot, thirsty work. If it was a good day, rather than share a bottle, we could have a bottle each. That was real extravagance in those days. That was at 10 years old. I obviously grew up, got a professional qualification, became an accountant, worked in industry as a financial director for too many years to tell you about. And then as I've got older, changing lifestyle, I've gone back to having my own business. So now, at an age where a lot of people, the only thing they talk about is how much pension will they get, what are they going to do in their retirement. To me, that's just an alien concept. I'm planning the next phase of my online business. I'm planning 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead, 15 years ahead. It keeps me occupied, it keeps me enthusiastic, it keeps me still like that, 10-year-old kid, if you like. What's the moral of the story? Well, I guess, to cut a long story short, when you look at life, you're never too young and you're never too old to start your own business. And having spent so many intervening years in the corporate world, I'm, glad I'm back here doing what I enjoy. This time I've got the shears and I've got the rake, but I'm not doing manual labour. I'm just doing that for fun, and the money's coming from an online business. So just like the 10-year-old kid, when it gets to a hot sunny afternoon, I can sit here in the garden and have a nice cold drink. Thanks for watching. Cheers everyone. See you in the next video.